Windbreaker, Season 2, Episode 3, titled Restart. It was a restart for Sakura's growth, but it was also a restart as we have one of the major antagonists for this series dropping in the post credit scene. Be sure to check that out and circle back. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back for Geek Variants, cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Windbreaker, Season 2, Episode 3. And overall, it was a solid episode. It was a nice conclusion, a nice little bow, if you will, on Keel. Keel served its purpose, it served its time, and ultimately, it was exactly what it was needed to be by our now upcoming antagonist in the future. So we're going to kind of see how that comes into play overall, but it's very interesting to see how this was. This was like the feel good moment where you kind of see some of your characters grow, they get a little bit tighter of a bond. We see some friendships forming, we see Sakura kind of going through it, so to speak. And overall, I think it was basically a decent filler episode. Basically, you just need to watch the end, and you really haven't missed all that much in terms of fighting, action, plot, all that kind of stuff. In this episode, really, it was probably a 7.5 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I still, after seeing what episode 1 and 2 were, I'm like, hey, I need more of that. But that's just my personal preference. I still enjoyed this show as I continually do. What happened in this episode that I found very enjoyable is the fact that we got a little bit more backstory on what happened with Nagato. Nagato is someone who always strives to do the right thing for people. He's someone who wants to be strong for the sake of others, and he wants to be good with his friends, and he's strong in his own sense. He's strong in that he's able to bring comfort and joy and peace to people around him. If you need someone to kick somebody's butt, you have the wrong guy. He's not that individual, he's not that guy, pal. Nagato, unfortunately, is someone who ends up usually trying to stick up for the right person at the wrong time. He ends up trying to break up a fight because people were robbing someone of their lunch money, and there was just four of them beating up one individual. He decides, hey, I can't stop this, and he can't just allow this to continue on, though. So he decides to get involved and yell at the miscreants beating up this individual. He steps in and tries to break up the fight. Let's just say it ends horribly. The dude is absolutely jumped. He's being defeated. He's being almost put down, so to speak. Ultimately, then jumps in Shinji Natori. Natori jumped right in, kicked all four of those guys square in the face, finished the fight really quickly, and then saved Nagato for all intents and purposes. And you're just kind of like, huh, maybe we got a bad read on Natori. Maybe he's not this bad of a dude. Maybe it's just kind of like a gray area, kind of Game of Thrones, where it's like, you understand why the character's doing what they're doing, but you don't like how they're doing it. So it kind of blurs the line between the morals and reality of the situation. Ultimately, come to find out that Notori was literally just setting up Nagato. He was catfishing him, so to speak. He was showing him this great side of him where he was calm, he was kind, he was caring. I need people who are going to be able to believe in my ideals and do things for me the way I want them to, and I'll have the strength to back them up and make them, all happy. Basically what Furien is. He wanted that for his own group, but obviously he lacked the power, the insight, and overall the actual integrity of character to make that happen. So the minute that Nagato shows up to go meet everyone at Keel, someone is getting beat up in the corner by one of the members of Keel. And Nagato's like, shouldn't we stop that? That's something we need to take care of. That's not right. Only for Natori to turn around, deck Nagato, and then it kind of just escalates from there. Soon they're just beating money out of this man. They're beating yen out of him like he is just an ATM. They are making this man go broke. They're making him miserable. It is a terrible time for us all. And then ultimately come to find out all the series events played out as they did up to this rescue point. And he believes he's not worth saving because he's willing to start robbing people in order to save Keel. But it turns out that Anzai is like, hey, you were strong in your own ways. I was strong in mine. We complemented each other well. I just wanted to care for my friends. And they eventually go back and they're on their way to go talk to Umamiya to kind of give them a breakdown, be like, hey, this is what happened. This is what's going on. As all this is playing out, Sakura is having a full on meltdown. He is just screaming about his mistakes. He's like, I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. All this is my fault. He's going into full on self destructive mode. Remember, he's never had friends. So the fact that now he has people he cares about, it's actually made him weaker because he's not able to do the things the way in which he normally would, where he could just be reckless and not care. Ultimately, he sees it as a sign of weakness. When he goes and has this conversation with Umamiya unwillingly because Nire outs him for this, Umamiya is like, when did you freeze up? What happened? And it was like, you froze up when you saw your friends get hurt, right? And Sakura's like, I never thought about it that way. I've never had this happen before. And Umamiya correctly calls him out on this and is like, you have people you care about now. That's why things are different now. Normally you would have been able to handle it, but because you actually care and like the people you're around, things are a little bit differently. The gravity of the situation is up. It's the reality of fighting for everything when you have nothing versus the reality of fighting for nothing when you have everything. Now that he has everything he wanted, he has to figure out what his true ideals are because all he wanted was for friends to be in his life and to have acceptance. Now that he has this, it makes having strength kind of seem not weak by comparison, but not necessarily as important to him as it initially did. They kind of have a huge heart to heart. Anzai and Nagato pour their souls out to Umamiya. And of course, Umamiya, being the person that he is, just says, look, shut up, eat, have some food, have a good time. Food, when you're surrounded by people that make you feel secure and make you feel happy, is 1,000% better than having food when you're alone and scrounging for nothing. And we all strive to have people like Umami in our lives who are like, hey, come on, just come hang out with us, where you feel warm, you feel comforted, you feel secure, and you can have great food with. I mean, that's a great time, man. So Umamiya is bringing up this camaraderie together, and as everyone is slowly leaving the restaurant, Umamiya turns to Hiragi and is like, hey, what do you see in Sakura? That moment back there where he's talking about his friends. What do you see in him? And Hiragi goes, I see another you, which Umamiya absolutely beams about and is like, Sakura is going to get a whole lot stronger. So Umamiya already knows that Sakura is going to one day come for him, and they may have a power struggle, if you will, for the number one spot. We'll see how things play out. But as the episode ends, and then you go to credits, post credit, we have the introduction of none other than Endo. He's not name dropped, he's not mentioned specifically. However, he is a huge player over in the manga. And Endo is someone who used to be a member of Furin and then left for their own reasons. Their own reasons is because they believed that Furin got soft and they didn't believe in the whole peace and friendship and tranquility and protecting the community. He believed more of what Keel had ultimately aligned, but at the same time, he just grew within Keel because he wanted to see what they can do so he could kind of get a scouting report, if you will, on Furin. That being said, he saw what he saw, and he's definitely kind of interested in what's going on moving forward. He's going to use this as a rallying cry to go ahead and get some other plans of his in the works. I'm very curious to see what ultimately happens with Endo because he is such a huge player, but at the same time, I'm very excited to see where our next arc is going. I'm Brent for Geek Variants. You've been listening to me ramble for about 8.5 minutes now. By all means, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below if you're not already subscribed. If you are, go ahead and hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, I've been Brent for Geek Variants. I'll see you later for some Skyrim, followed up by tomorrow's Supermarket Simulator. We'll see you then.